Hello, everybody. This is Grant from We Are Starting a Cult. Welcome back. We are here to announce that we are taking a bit of a vacation break. I was out of town, and then now we're just a little bit busy trying to play catch up with our schedules and stuff like that. So we do not have a brand new episode for you today, sadly. However, we didn't want you to go too long without hearing our wonderful voices. So we decided it would be best if we put up one of the Patreon episodes. That way people that aren't patrons can get a little taste of what's going on, and you guys still get to spend some time with us throughout the week, alright? So don't worry, we do have new episodes planned. We have new Patreon episodes that will be coming out soon. And we are working towards getting back onto our routine schedule. It will happen. It just, you know how the summer is. You get busy, things come up. You got parties and vacations and all that type of stuff. So don't worry, we will be back. But like I was saying, in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is episode 45 of our Patreon series. And in this one, we talk about some of our favorite memories from the show, some of our favorite episodes altogether, and why they are our favorites. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and we will be back sooner than you think. Do not even worry about that. But don't forget to have a great week, and we will be back. And once again, this is We Are Starting a Cult, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Put it down! Put it down! I beg you! Oh.
Hi.
Hey.
What's going on, patrons?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's been a while.
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been a while.
Been too long.
Dig that. Been a while.
Oh.
That's a song, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's been a while. Been a long time since I rock and roll.
Been a while since I roll. Been a while.
Yeah.
It really hasn't been that long. It's been about the normal amount of time, but
Oh, yeah, if you haven't figured it out by now, we don't really have a direction for this one.
no, we don't.
But
And
that's when the best shit happens.
see, and I think this is the joy of the Patreon, at least of making it. I don't know about actually listening to it, but I feel like we just get to you guys get to see sort of the behind the scenes thought processes behind what we do.
Yeah, we're just dudes.
It's incredibly unorganized. What we just did, we just finished up the Oscar fucking what? Oh, why do I keep
Wang.
forgetting his fucking
Oscar Wang Computers.
name. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That's just pissing me off. I can't remember.
You never need to know his name again. We did the episode.
That's true. We just finished it. The computer is very, very slow. So we were letting it, save and upload to the hard drive.
Yeah, what year is this computer from?
2007.
Okay.
Dude, it's
That's
old.
fucking crazy.
It is old. It's one of those that it was around before I even had a computer.
Like, this computer could be getting its fucking driver's permit right now.
Yeah, this computer was already in use before I started using it. You know, so it's old. It's got some miles on it for sure.
Yeah, now it's just used for Audacity.
Yeah, really. It's literally only used for this. But we let that upload, and while we uploaded that, instead of what do we think? You know what we did? We went and we watched Badlands Chug Mountain Dew.
Yeah, roughly, what was it, 5 cans of 2 separate ones?
Yeah,
so 10 cans of soda.
10 total cans of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. 5
Gold and mango.
5 pineapple and 5 mango. So he was feeling it,
In 37 seconds. And he paused in between to announce what he was going to chug next in between that. So I'm going to say it's an even 32.
Yeah, I'll give him that. He took time to burp and talk.
He drank so much soda just now.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But that's what we did. Literally in the gap between these episodes, it was about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And we watched Badlands Chugs, and then we were like, all right, let's go do this. Let's get it done, baby.
Yeah. Dude,
and here we are.
The fact that Badlands has a cameo now, that opens up a whole new world for me.
It does. It's really cool.
I might be spending just a lot of money on that just to pretend I'm having a real conversation with him.
Badlands, could you tell me you're doing really well today?
Can you ask me how my day was, and then in the next request I'll say how it was, and then you can have a follow-up?
I feel like
follow-up question for me?
I feel like realistically, like a dude like Badlands, I could be wrong entirely about his personality. I feel like if you made that cameo, he'd be like, you know what? I'll video call you. And he would just
like, what's your number? I'll FaceTime, yeah.
Yeah, he would just talk to you, because it's like, he just seems that jovial and, like, kind.
We were just talking about that, yeah. Like, his backyard, it's, like, super just average. Like, he's just in a neighborhood somewhere.
Yeah, just a guy.
He's got a shed, and he was, like, addressing the fact that there were lawnmowers going on. He's like, it stopped. Now I can chug.
Yeah, like, he's just a normal fucking guy. I enjoy it.
He's great.
But that's why, so the fun of the Patreon is, like, you guys get to see what happens for us behind the curtain, you know?
Yeah.
And, I wish I could tell you a story about it being this intriguingly complex system of this, and that, and the other, but it's really not.
We're not that deep, honestly.
No, it's relatively simple. I mean, we just... someone tells us what they want to hear, or we just pick if we don't have anyone.
Yeah.
And we do it. It's literally, there's nothing more to it.
Yeah.
Like this, you know exactly how this, I think we talked about things like this before. But the episode we just did on Oscar
Wangenheimer.
Yeah. Literally what happened was, I don't even know where I think it was on Reddit. And someone, like, said that name, and they were like, what's that? And the guy was like, just look it up. So I was like, all right, well, I'll look it up. And, like, I was reading it, I was like, this could be interesting. So I screenshotted it, sent it to Jake, and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And it was like, that could work.
I believe my exact response was, good Lord, I'm in.
Yeah, I was like, all right, we're going to do it then.
And then the episode happened, and now we're all scarred.
Yeah, I mean, there was no real words. There was not even real socialization that came with it. It was all internet. It was all via text. It was like, all right, what do you think about this? Like,
thank you, internet.
Yeah, let's do that. Good Lord, I'm in. It's like, all right, fuck yeah, we're going to do it.
No, exactly.
And that's sort of just, that's where we land, like, every week, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be doing this without the internet.
No, we wouldn't.
No, we'd just be doing it to no one, to ourselves. Because this is kind of just how we talk.
Pretty much.
like when we hang out, we just like would talk about these things anyway. So we're like, should we record ourselves?
You're like, what if we just did this?
Maybe we should record ourselves.
And I think it works. I think it really works a lot.
I think so. Either way, I mean, it's fun to do.
Yeah, and it's fun. I like episodes. I'm a big fan of episodes that are completely unique, at least to like us. I mean, there's probably 5 million fucking podcasts out there right now that are active, and of that 5 million, probably 485,000 of them cover the same things we do, or in that realm.
Yeah.
So I enjoy doing things like this, where that's something I never like stumbled upon, at least in the few podcasts that I like. And it's fun because it feels like it's like an adventure, and we're the ones starting it, you know?
Yeah, we're the reason.
It's cool.
We're your Sherpas into whatever the fuck we're talking about.
It really makes it feel like way more organic to me, you know?
Yeah. Because there was a time, like, it's not so much now. I feel like the podcast is really keeping our like interest in a lot of these things going. Oh, because like as we come across things, we're like, that's fucking crazy. I want to learn more about that. But like, at the inception of the podcast, we were just like looking into all this shit anyway. Like, I feel like we both kind of had a phase in that sense. We were
absolutely.
Just like aliens, people dying, crime, all these different things. We were just like, oh my god, it's so interesting. Let's just fucking like gorge ourselves on this information. And now it's just turned into this beautiful podcast with you people listening to us every week.
It is nice.
It's a fun time.
Previous to this show, like, it was hard, like, when people ask you, like, especially, like, you're doing something or there's, like, an icebreaker type event, and it's like, tell us things that you're, like, interested in, or what have you been reading? What do you do in your free time? And, like, being at school or, like, talking to people, doing stuff like that. It was hard because it's, like, the shit I was, like, reading at that time was, like, really fucking weird, like, Bigfoot shit and, like, aliens and crazy shit.
Do you remember the Bigfoot erotica thing we did
that
a whole...
Great. That was gold.
did a whole section on?
I will live and die by this, that Bigfoot Part 2... Part 1 was way more fun to actually, like, research and make. But, I mean, that was, like, one of our first 5 or 10 episodes that we did.
Yeah.
And Part 2 will always be, like, in the top 3 episodes we've ever done for this show.
Mainly because of the, oh, wait, was he a big hairy person?
Not even that. It was just fun because it was like an information dump of everything I've wanted to say to people for, like, years,
You got a lot of stuff off your chest that day.
I did. Like, it was all this shit that, like...
Georgie was there. Dude, like, episodes where Georgie's on.
Yeah.
We laugh harder than at any other time.
We did. We really did.
Now he's married and has a child.
Yeah, it's like, now he's busy. He can get shit going
We've been doing this a long time.
But it's... that one's always going to be one of my favorites for that very reason. Because it was just like, I'd be like, it's like Christmas dinner, and like someone says something, and I'm like, I'd like casually bring it up, be like, oh, I'm real interested in Bigfoot. And someone would be like, yeah, well, that's not real. And then all this shit in my head would be like, I just want to dump this on you and be like, you can't say that.
Yeah, but it's like, then you're making a scene. Yeah. I probably brought this up, but it was like I think we had just done the, what was it? The Ruby Ridge episode.
Yeah. That's a gold one,
yeah,
too.
Dude, that was one of my favorites that we ever did. I haven't gone back and re-listened to it, so I don't know if it holds up as well as it does in my mind. But anyway, this is all to say, that came out, and then I had like a family wedding downtown.
Oh.
And one of my cousin's girlfriends at the time, who was now his wife, and they have a kid. Everyone's getting married and having kids. But she was like, we listened to your podcast, the Ruby Ridge one. And I was like, oh, sweet. So that kind of got me thinking about it in this like family setting where I never think about that kind of shit.
Yeah, it's like, shit.
We were like waiting between the ceremony and like the after party in this like crazy nice like hotel bar area. It was just like me and my family and like my sister and her boyfriend all dressed to the nines. And I talked to them about fucking Michael Jackson raping kids for like 40 minutes.
They're like, this is crazy.
Like, I was the only one talking.
That's fucking good.
And I was like, oh, God. This isn't what people should be doing,
this isn't what we should be talking about today.
It was like 30 minutes in that I was like, well, I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I have to finish my point. So I finished the extra 10 minutes of what I had to say.
You're like, yeah, this is gold.
Yeah, so...
But yeah,
so I understand needing to get stuff off of your chest in that kind of setting.
It's nice, too, because it's like... It's not even like... I'm not trying to be like... Oh, well, you just don't know that. It's just, it's something that's interesting to me, and I like want to say it, but it doesn't make you sound like a normal, rational human being.
No, it's like, oh, you're really interested in that? That's, I'm going to go over here.
Yeah, it's like, okay, no. But yeah, there's a lot of episodes that are like that. I do think the Vegas episode was like, I feel like we were like journalists on that one. We like cracked some shit that I had never heard before.
That one was fun. The shit that you brought to the table on that episode, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we fucking like cracked down on that shit. We were like, here's all the fucking info you'll ever need.
That one, and then... So there are two big series that I like thought we did well on, but there was just so many things I knew we didn't get to when it came to Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, yeah.
And fucking the Franklin cover-up.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like doing them, it feels weird saying doing them justice in like the storytelling, but I feel like we did do them justice, but like if you want to like really look into that shit, we could talk about that for months.
Yeah.
You know, like it's fucking insane. But,
and it's like that's what I think we kind of learned our lesson on those because this isn't like a full-time gig. This isn't even like a part-time gig. This is like maybe like we do it, once a week, and the actual studying for that once a week is whenever you have the time to do it.
Yeah, and that for me, like I work the closing shift at a cafe, so I get home at like 8:00.
Yeah.
And then, so I just like stay up for like hours very early into the morning if I'm just like, oh, I'm so behind. I like type up a script and it's like go to bed at 2:30, wake up, come to Grant's. I'm like, all right, I have to finish this while we're just watching TV for a little bit.
Yeah. So it's like those are very hard to do. I get what you mean. Like it's hard to actually give those a fair shake.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much for like we don't have like a committee. We don't fucking pay
no,
for
we have our fucking phones and like our laptops. We're just like, all right, let's try to do this.
Yeah, we have like we look like I know some podcasts and like even just people in general have access to like they pay for like the archives and stuff like that where they can go in and get like actual newsprints and like up to date information and shit.
Yeah, I wonder how like
we have none of that.
Yeah. I do wonder how crazy in depth we could have gotten if we chose to do this while we were still in college.
I wonder, yeah.
Because like we had access to the Columbia Library like database.
That is true. It really
missed opportunity.
Yeah, you live and you learn. But
maybe I'll go back to school just for that.
But it definitely it's a hard game to be in, and like I'm not even. I wouldn't even. I guess technically, I would consider us podcasters because we like have a podcast.
I mean, we have like over 160 episodes.
Yeah, but
I think we've done it.
Yeah, we can call ourselves that. But I would in like no way call us professionals in that field at all.
No, I don't think. What is it? 10 years or 10,000 hours? We're not close to either of those things.
No, and it's like I don't know shit about like equipment.
Shit about dick. Yeah, we have the same microphones that we got when we recorded like our first episode.
Yeah.
And both of them cost $50.
Pretty much.
So like
we
same computer from 2007.
We really it's more of just a hobby that we do. So it's like when we do get those, like, I wouldn't say we have bad episodes, but there's definitely ones where the research is a lot harder to do.
Yeah, it's like, I guess less captivating on the outside, or maybe there's the one that, it's like tougher for us, and we're just like, is this really entertaining?
Yeah,
but like Chernobyl, when I was talking about all that fucking like science and shit.
Like,
what the hell was it? I liked it too.
I know people listen to it and we're like, this sucks.
They're just like, these dudes with fucking art degrees are trying to explain how a nuclear reactor works.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not going to translate
come on now.
The same for everybody.
But, like, when we do hit, like, those good ones where we really, like, nail it, it's fucking awesome because it's just gold. It's
that
just a lot of
dopamine
fun.
you need,
It really is. Like I feel like it's efficient and it's just good.
Yeah, honestly, and like when we get people commenting or like giving us like, suggestions or just saying like, "Hey, love the show" or something, or people on fucking Patreon listening right now, like this is amazing.
Yeah,
because we're just like having fun, dude. Like I don't know about you, but I'm having a good time.
Yeah, we just kind of like.
I don't got a gun to your head yet,
We just trial and error and just like it's because I don't even like advertise that. People are like, what do you do in your free time? I'm not like, I have a podcast. I'm just like, I don't know. I just fucking hang out.
It's like, I play music, hang out with friends, podcast.
Yeah,
it's not like a main point I make. Like, if people ask, like, what I do, I'm just like, I got, like, I have 2 jobs. I'm in a band. I have 2 podcasts.
Like, there you go. There you go.
Like,
it's busy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's definitely, that's why I think we somehow, like, naturally, just over the course of episodes and topics, we've gone into things that are much more digestible for the audience and for us. And it's not that we won't do like multiple part episodes again, but it's like
No, yeah, I mean like Aleister Crowley, like that was pretty fun.
yeah, like that was a good one.
I mean, the same thing that happens every time we do like a big series like that happened, but that's kind of inevitable, which is at the end of it we're just like, oh, this fucking guy, I don't want to hear this guy's name anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like we just get sick of talking about it because it takes like a month.
Yeah, so but we definitely, I think we're kind of getting into this groove of, because like we used to, I wouldn't even say we tried to force it, but we definitely tried to stick to like a script of,
yeah, like
we do ghosts, aliens, and crime, and that's what we do. And then it's like, all right, we'll pepper in a thing here or there, but we haven't done this. It's more like, who fucking cares? Let's just like do shit now.
Remember we did Roanoke?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck was that? It was nothing, but it was fun. I had a good time.
It was fun. And it's like, to me, I think, funny enough, I think ghost episodes are like the hardest to do.
Yeah, because it's all kind of like, you know what's going to happen. Like all the tropes happen.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of up to us to like at the same time as telling the story where it's pretty predictable, be like entertaining for lack of a better way of putting it. Just like, you know.
And it's like I'm definitely a fan of the supernatural, but they're the worst episodes to translate because
they're the most difficult to navigate.
Yeah, it's never the story will never do justice to any form of visual aid accompanied by it, even if it's not the real footage, even if it's stock photos of like a shadow in a mirror, that adds a whole other layer to the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I will say that I am glad that we're not one of those podcasts that strictly covers that kind of stuff, but also has like weird, somber, like acoustic guitar underneath as you're speaking, and it's like, and then you won't believe what happened.
I wouldn't want to do that.
It's like, dude, I've come across a couple of those just for like research's sake, and I literally can't get through them. I'm just like, why is the guitar line from Hurt playing with like a fucking hawk's screech in the background and the sound of a river, and this guy's talking about a flood or something like that? It's like, this is fucking 45 minutes. Are you shitting me? This is looping right now. I hate that. No, I just want it to be us talking as friends because I like hanging out with you, and this is just how it is.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
I think a fun thing that I've been trying to mentally develop, but I can't quite figure out where to take it. I want to do like a longer series on just the generic idea. This is essentially where I'm at right now, is that it'd be a conspiracy theories series, okay? But it
say that 3 times fast.
Conspiracy
theories series, conspiracy theory series.
That's tough. I don't want to try.
Theory series, theory. Even saying theory series.
Theory series.
Oh god, it's so hard. All right, anyway, yeah, go
on. So it wouldn't necessarily we could talk about like things in between. We've covered a lot of different conspiracy theories, but I kind of want to. This is just something I've been like doing just for the sake of doing. Is kind of going over, like, it would be like 3 parts. So it would be like the past, the present, and the future. So it would be sort of like the early days of like the conspiracy theory or like whack job theories. Then it would be kind of like how that turned into what we're dealing with now.
Kind of like an overarching theme starting with probably like the Webster's dictionary definition of conspiracy.
Yeah.
Not talking about groups of meerkats.
Because, yeah, it's like, to me, I mean, don't get me wrong, conspiracy theories have always been and revolved around, like, the unknown and, you know, government's usually tied up in there. But it definitely feels like in the last 15 to 20 years of conspiracy theories, I mean, to be fair, I wasn't really around to, like, know that shit back then.
Yeah, we're, like, 25.
But it was fucking, at that time, it was very different than it is now. Like, it's very divisive and oddly strict on, like, where the theory can go and where it can't go.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be interesting just to see the progression of, like, were conspiracy theories from 50 years ago, and where did they predict we would be today? Where are the ones from today that predict where we will be then? And then where are the theories that are predicting the future,
It's this big web of things, yeah.
Because it definitely changes.
Well, I mean, we've kind of, I do like that approach of just kind of like a series of episodes that don't necessarily tie in together, but they have one overarching theme. Yeah. Kind of like what we did we had Columbine, we had Vegas, just like the idea of like shootings, false flags, and like conspiracy surrounding that. Yeah. That was just kind of a series of things we did, but they all are separate subjects in and of themselves that warrant their own episodes.
Exactly. So it's like, and it's a tough one because it to me that's interesting, but then now you run into the issue of like, how do you make that an entertaining episode, let alone a series, as well as have it be like cohesive and insightful?
Yeah. We have to be very like studious at the same time, like remaining ourselves.
Yeah, that's a tall order.
In like just joking about literally anything. If Exhibit A, the fucking episode we just did about Nazis, yes. Grant led that one more or less, and I was trying to be like the levity guy. And at two different points, I was forced to just like reference comedies from the 80s.
Yeah, because there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else.
There's nothing else I could do. I was like, there's no levity here I can offer from just my personality.
Yeah, there's no.
I'm trying to sell my brand, but this is a fucking brick wall.
But yeah, and that's kind of like where we land on a lot of shit, where it's like we want to do stuff, but then I guess to me, the question I always ask myself is like, is it going to be worth it? I come up with these like thoughts where I'm like, that'd be a cool episode. Then you like look into it and you're like, there's like a lot of garbage you got to sift through.
Yeah.
And do you find enough good stuff to where you're like, it's worth my time to go ahead and do this?
Yeah, but then sometimes you get like a topic you think is going to be like amazing. Like just the sheer premise of it. But then you look into it and you find out that the premise of it is really all that there is. And it's like, oh, this is like 10 minutes of information.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is kind of, that's why a lot of the hodgepodge things started. It's like, we just have like, oh, this to talk about. And it's like, all right, Grant, you do one now. It like takes 5 minutes. And then it's like, I do one for 3 minutes. And then you do like a 15-minute one. And then like 7 minutes. It's just like, because those are things that we wanted to talk about, but they did not warrant a full episode.
Oh, I agree. I think my favorite example of that was the one where like that guy or like that family moved into that house and they kept like receiving these strangely personal letters.
Oh shit. And like they were talking about how the children's blood or the children were the lifeblood of the house and shit.
And like it got like really weird and like specific.
And he's like, from the southeast window I've seen you mopping the floor. Did you get a new Swiffer or something like that?
And like nobody knows like where or why they came from. I guess not why they came, but like where they came from or who was sending it. And it was like ongoing. It wasn't like a one-time thing. It was just like, ah, shit, we got a letter again. It's fucking this guy.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those that like, I wanted that to be like a way bigger than it was. But there's like, it just kind of is what it is. It's like, yeah, no one knows.
Either it's just like, there's not enough there or like it was never solved. So it's like, yeah, this is all we know. So,
yeah. Another good example of that for me is like Phil Schneider. I know that every great story, whether you think it's real or not, every great story has to end. And that is one story that, like, I always just want there to be something else. Like, I want more to it, but there just isn't. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's long. It's a long story.
Classic Philip.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, a hefty fucking tale. But when you get done, like, I want more. I'm like... Or another one is like Bill Schnoblin or Schneeblin.
I think it's Schnoblin.
That's what I call him. He is so fucking batshit crazy that I just want more. Like, I want there to be more. Like, I know he's talking about fucking werewolves and like going to fucking Saturn.
It's
and,
like, you get to choose either a vampire or a werewolf.
Yeah.
I chose vampire, so I did a bunch of cocaine.
Yeah, like, I just want there to be more. I want there to be some crazy fucking thing that just, like,
Dude, he's still alive. Who knows what he's doing now aside from writing books no one's buying?
Yeah, he's, like, super religious now. He's, like, kind of strange.
Yeah,
he never responded to my email.
What a dick.
I like to think he saw it, but he never responded. That's definitely a story I just want more of. Especially, like, I always go back to the part where, like, the werewolf was, like, trying to get into that house, but it, like, couldn't because it wasn't granted permission. And it was just, like, pissed off.
He's, like, applying, like, Skinwalker rules to, like, completely other different things and different schools of thought.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, just keep dumping it out. Like, just start making it. He's talking about, like, putting Bibles under the fucking support beams of Mormon churches and shit.
Dude, my favorite little snippet from Schnoblin's story was when he launched into fucking space.
Yep.
And went to that moon outside of, like, Saturn or something.
Yeah, it was like the Cathedral of Pain.
Yeah, and then he, like, suckled at some dude's open chest cavity who had some sort of authority, and then he just shot back down into his parents' yard, and it was just on fire.
Yeah, he's like, I was like a comet.
It's like, yeah, I'm sure that happened. You weren't just doing an obscene amount of cocaine.
That truly is one of... I wouldn't even... Because, honestly, I haven't really, like, gone back and, like, re-listened to it.
Nah, me either. I know that was our, like, redo, because we did it once before, and we were like, no, we have to do this again.
Yeah, and it didn't, come out well. Like, the audio was kind of fucked up. But that story is probably one of the funniest stories you'll ever fucking encounter. Like,
no, it's very true. And he's still alive.
And
if
you're into this type of stuff, if you're into, like, mysticism and magic and fucking aliens and demons and cryptids, he has it all. Everything is there.
He does, yeah. Everything. People die. There's cryptids. There's probably he's in space. Alien things. Who knows?
Yeah, and like reptiles and reptilians and shit. He's got it all. That was truly that. Him and Phil Schneider should have been able to team up and make a book together. And I would buy the fuck out of that book.
I would buy them out. I would buy every single copy if that happened.
That would be so intense. And that's sort of that's like the gamble you got to take in this world of interest.
Yeah.
A lot of the really, really cool shit doesn't go as deep as you want it. And, well, that's what makes it cool, because you don't know, you know?
It's true.
The deeper something goes, the less exciting it is, because then it just becomes information. There's really no, like, conjecture.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, oh, that's what it is.
This is why godwads are so obsessed with religion.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, who fucking knows, but I'm going to believe this. And it's so just nice.
Yeah.
Just nice for you.
But those are definitely some of the more just wild stories out there that I think should really be covered a lot more. Especially Bill Schnoblin. I can't believe, like...
I think we cornered that market. I've never heard any other podcast talk about him. Probably because he's full of shit, but like...
I've never heard anybody talk about him besides him.
Yeah, didn't you? I feel like it was either at the very beginning of us doing the podcast, but like you emailed the last podcast on the left and like suggested, you suggested it, and they were like, yeah, we'll look into this, and they never did it.
Yeah, they're like, we'll look into it. They're like, it might be.
That was like 3 years ago.
Pretty much like their response, like at least what I took from their response was like, the guy's a crackpot. Like they may have been aware, or like maybe they just did like a cursory thing to be like, well, maybe it's worth it. And it was like, the guy's like, there's nothing here. Like there's no story to tell here.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the story that this guy, again, I'm not going to tell you which way to believe. I'm pretty certain he was not truthful.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty certain. But that was like what made it good. It was the fact that he was so fucking... He believed it so much that it like became real while you listened to him.
Yeah, in that fucking 9-hour interview series.
And dude, because what really caught me, I'll never forget. I was like killing time one day, and I was like looking at stuff, and I found this website, and it had all these like really fucking weird articles. Like it was like very like I don't even it was like magic words. So like what it would be, they'd like show you something that would be like a semi-interesting article. You'd be like, okay, like I want to know what they're saying, and then they'd like pull the rug out from under you. Like one example I have, it was like, I bought a dozen eggs and all of them had double yolks, and I was like, okay, this is,
it's like no way,
kind of nifty. And then like the sub headline would be like, and why this is connected to Satanism. And I'm like, holy shit, what? So, like, I'm, like, reading through these things, like, okay, this is crazy. I remember one of the articles was about, it was written by the woman who did that interview, that Stephanie Ralphie.
Yeah.
And it was about, she was talking about how drugs, like, mitigate the, connective conscious that we have here, or collective conscious we have. And how she said, like, her and, someone she was with, and the person she was with was better at it than her. And the story goes that she was so connected to, like, the planet that they were at this festival, and Fish, the band Fish, well, Fish.
I know Fish. I went through a phase.
They were playing at this festival, and they were at the show, and they had to leave because the way she describes it is that Trey Anastasio is a psychic vampire. And
I could see that.
And she was like, when they started playing, he transformed in front of her very eyes, and these connected to the world eyes, into this like octopus monster, and his tentacles like stretched out into the audience, and he was just sucking the energy from everyone in the audience. And so they had to leave because they got afraid.
You know what exactly happened?
Acid.
Yeah. Because, dude, Fish shows are more notorious for drug use than fucking the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And they are very well known for their laser light shows. Yeah. So it's just lasers and acid, and you're staring at this guy. You're like, this man's an octopus. I just know it.
Yeah, he's an evil, sentient octopus demon that's here to steal my mind. But fucking, after I read that, I was like, okay, so I'm like scrolling through. They had a lot of like dumb shit. They had a lot of stupid shit. I think I have a picture on my phone of like one of the like main articles on their website. Let me see if I can pull it up. I want to say I have it.
So while you're looking for that, just a little bit about Fish shows.
Mm-hmm.
I never did any sort of substance at the two shows that I went to. And I don't regret that at all. Because some of the people I saw there, like, it's a free place. You can be like, oh, it's so happy. Everything's nice. I saw a lot of boobs. It's a lot of asses.
Hell
Hilarious. Yeah. Hilarious. They're all on drugs. Okay. But I'm just going to say this.
No, go ahead.
Let's say 3 people that I know or knew that were avid fish goers, they're dead now.
Yep.
Very heavily due to drugs. So anyway.
Almost exclusively due to that.
Exclusively. It sucks.
So this was the banner picture headline that was on their fucking website, okay? And the website, as far as I know, it's still like open. You can go on there, but it hasn't been updated in like years.
Yeah.
So it was
dead site.
It was called Metatech.org, and like the big banner when you like go to their website and click on like other news or something that wasn't like health related. In the top left corner, it's a picture of Hitler, and underneath that is a swastika.
Okay,
all right. In the top right corner, there's a blonde woman and a UFO underneath her.
Oh.
And the headline reads, and I'm directly reading this.
Okay.
Nordic aliens are as evil as the reptilians. The harvest of humans is coming. Do not get on the ships. And then it reroutes you to a website that says, don'tgetOnTheShips.com. So that's the shit we're dealing with.
That kind of ties in with some shit I overheard at the coffee shop the other day.
Don't get on the ships,
dude. There is this regular that comes in, and she is a capital C cunt.
Oh,
She is like the worst person for food industry and beyond. She is the worst person I've ever met. But she's like stupid religious, like very religious. And I overheard her talking with some people she brought in. She's one of those people that legitimately believes that like the devil is taking the form of like other people, like in multi-generational shit.
In her life.
Yeah, in her life, she's like every generation has a form of the devil that is a very rich and powerful person.
Right.
I heard her give her whole like explanation as to why she thinks Elon Musk is like the devil incarnate.
Well, dunking on his ships, man.
It was the best break I've ever taken at work. It was just like eating a ham sandwich and just like listening to this woman go off about
You're like, please keep
Elon
going.
Musk is the devil.
Like, please continue. I want to hear
Oh
more.
God, she should die.
But yeah, so fucking Metatech.org, it sucked me in with that because I was immediately like, I'm interested in what they have to say. I just want to know like what kind of shit's going to be on here. What kind of dumb shit am I going to read?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I stumbled upon, it was his book, and what was it? It was like Interview with an Ex-Vampire or something.
Yeah.
Definitely playing off the popularity of the movie Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
And like it was broken up into like 10 different parts and 10 different articles. And what it was like they transcribed the video. So it was like every hour-long video was transcribed, and it was probably like 75 pages worth of like scrolling
Each.
and it was perfectly written out. Like it had like it read like a play. Like it had like Bill colon, then what he said, then like Stephanie colon what she said, or like what she
And then
asked.
like Bill looks down in disgust.
Yeah.
Looks up and answers. And then a quote.
Yeah, and like I read at least one full transcript of like one of the things. And it was broken up into, like, the same way the video series is, where, like, the titles are, like, super insane. It's like, Bill Schnoblin, ex-vampire. You're like, all right, whatever. And then you get into shit where it's like, the Mormon Church, reptiles, Saturn, the Cathedral of Pain. It's like,
It's
okay,
like, wow.
what the fuck is this? And then it's like, one of them was like, Walt Disney, black magic, evil corporations. It was like, okay. And then I ended up like watching, I guarantee you I watched all 10 of those videos at least twice. And it just like sucked me in so hard I couldn't not watch it.
Yeah, there was a period of time where I'd come over to your house at the time and you and Mitch would just be watching those and it would be on the entire time that I was there.
Yeah, we would just
It's like, all right, next one.
I remember specifically like I found it and I remember I texted Mitch. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, dude, you gotta, like, check this shit out. And he was like, all right, well, he's like, I'll come over tomorrow. Like, we'll either read it or, like, if there's a video, we'll watch it. And we watched it, and we both were just, like, in silence, just watching this guy. And then, like, the video would, like, it'd go to an ad, or, like, it would be over, and it'd be like, go to the next video. And we would just look at each other and be like, go to the next one. Like
we have to.
Just put it on. Like,
there's
where's
no
this guy
end
going?
to the interest. This man is intriguing.
It is, and it's like, it's all bullshit, but it is so fucking entertaining. Like, if that dude wasn't as crazy as he actually is, maybe he's telling the truth and we're all just naive.
See, that's the beauty of our podcast.
Yeah.
Everything we talk about, maybe it's true.
But like,
What if it's true, dude?
I feel like his market, he would be a fucking billionaire with how creative that guy is, or if that's really what he thinks he experienced. If he wrote that as like a fiction novel or like a series, HBO would buy that, and that dude would be the next fucking Game of Thrones. Like,
Yeah.
he would run the fucking TV show.
Dude, or
He
he'd
would
be
own
like
the world.
Or he'd be like the dignified Alex Jones. Just
Yeah.
like he's the equivalent of Alex Jones if he had like a British accent, which Bill Schnoblin does not. But I
No.
feel like you know what I mean.
I know
like,
exactly what
there's
you mean.
just the added like, oh, he's wearing a suit and he's speaking calmly. For a cocaine addict, that's pretty crazy.
And like,
All right.
in his defense, the one thing I will give him, anything that he mentions, at least that can be corroborated. Like, he is like an ordained like Catholic. He was like ordained in the Catholic Church. Then he left. Then he was like, I think he was Jewish for a minute.
He was Jewish for a little bit.
I mean, we know that the dude, like, I mean, let's face it, the dude probably hates Jews. Like, he's like super anti-Semitic, I assume.
More than likely.
But like he has some credentials. Okay, like they're not all real. A lot of them are probably like questionably like who fucking knows what this is, but they're legitimate enough. Okay,
Yeah.
you know,
Real in the sense that, like, they are established things, but those things might not be entirely accurate in what they're saying.
Yes.
But he is, like, official within those things.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
Which is, it dilutes it a little bit, but...
Yeah, that's Bill Schneider. Honestly, I feel like that's pretty much the episode.
That's pretty much the episode. We were just talking about stuff we've talked about.
Hell yeah, we're giving you the inside corner look.
Damn right, dude. A little look-see, all right?
But, we're posting an episode along with this Patreon episode, so you'll have two to listen to and enjoy.
Yeah, two.
As well as another one that will come out tomorrow that will be a little bit more relaxed.
It'll definitely be less sad than the one we just recorded.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%, without a doubt.
Yeah. Not this one, the other one.
But
you'll know which one I'm talking
yeah,
about.
you're gonna enjoy it, I promise. But with that being said, that's our Patreon episode for the
It is.
bye
It
week.
really is. Mitch isn't here. He never is for the Patreon, but you know what?
We love him anyway.
We love him anyway. He was... You know, it's sorry, this kind of keeps it going, but like I feel like I just kind of like to speak again on like the beginning of the podcast. Like you and Mitch were like my Sherpas into this.
Yeah.
And then it was just me and you that started this. And I'm just like, damn, Mitch had like a lot to do with the starting of this podcast.
He did look
like an insane amount.
Yeah, like cuz the initial pitch was that it was like me and Mitch. And then we were like talking about it, and Mitch kind of came to the conclusion that he was like, I'm just not like good at like speaking. Which if you not that he's not very clear in a lot of his thoughts.
Sometimes, and like it takes him a little bit of time sometimes to get his thoughts oriented.
Yeah, they're very jumbled
before he speaks them.
Yeah, so like
so there's a lot of dead air.
Talking
so
to him
to
in
speak.
person is sometimes very frightening because you'll be in the middle of a conversation and he'll just kind of look off and be silent for a minute, and then like you're thinking like, all right, well we're gonna like move on or like I don't know, like do something else, and then he like reverts back. He's like, okay, well what about this? And you're like, oh, okay, we're back at this, huh?
My favorite is when he does it. Like he just kind of stares off, and he stares, and you can just tell like something's going on in his head.
Yeah, like the gears are working.
And then you
like,
say something else, and he's just like, "What? What?" It's like, Mitch, what were you thinking of just now? He's like, "Oh, don't worry about that."
Yeah, it's like, oh shit.
Like
okay.
Mitch is a cryptic motherfucker.
And then then it was like, well, he's like, I don't know if I'll have time. Like I'm gonna start like working full time. And then we were talking about it in a Wingstop.
The Wingstop.
And we were like, dude,
God, what street was that?
Was that State or no? Well, it was on State and what?
It was it's between Wabash and State, and then I think 11th Street.
I don't remember. It was some street. It was in the South Loop.
It's probably like 9th?
Something like that.
Yeah, or 7th.
Oh, okay.
It was 7th because I was 2 East 8th.
There you go.
And that was one block over. So yeah, of downtown the Chicago Loop.
And yeah, I remember
that Wingstop.
We were talking about it, and Mitch suggested, he's like, dude, what about Jake? I was like, I don't know. Is he like into that shit? He's like, I don't fucking know, maybe. And we were talking about it, and Jake was like, this is like, I like this. Let's do this. And then we not like wrote Mitch out, but it was more like, all right, well, we're gonna like do our plan.
Yeah.
And Mitch was just kind of there for the ride. And
he's here for the ride many years later.
Yeah, he still is. He's still hanging out.
He's still in the
ride.
room most of the time.
But he's definitely a part of the birth of the show.
Yeah,
There's
very
no
much
denying.
so. And yeah, it was like I was just starting to get into that kind of stuff because Mitch was like driving you to school.
Yeah.
And I lived down there, so we would just like link up. But you guys would always talk about like the last podcast episodes you were listening to. Like last podcast on the left, like you talk about those things and like tell me just like little synopses of what you heard, and I was like, that's fucking nuts. So I started listening to that, and I went hard into a last podcast hole. I still listen to them all the time, dude. They're fucking great.
See, it's fun. I like having. I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts anymore. Like
me
when
either.
I do,
honestly.
I usually go with like Astonishing Legends just because they kind of have that feel that like I like, where it's like shit that I don't get anywhere else. And I'm not gonna deny, like the last podcast, when it comes to things that are both known and unknown, they're definitely the most marketable and arguably some of the best to like do it.
Oh, very much so.
But like I just like the shit in Astonishing Legends. It's like things you would never like. They're literally things that we want to do that turn into like 10-minute things, and they turn into like 6 hours of just the craziest fucking information you'll ever hear.
Insane.
But yeah, that's what I listen to when I do.
I listen to like Last Podcast on the Left, and then like Bobby Lee's podcast, Tiger Belly.
Yeah.
And then what else do I listen to?
Like nothing.
Let me pull up Spotify real quick, and then we'll get out of here. I just want to get this.
We need the crowds to know. I was listening to one. It was kind of cool. It was like a podcast?
Yeah.
You know? And they did like conspiracy theories, and like I liked it because there was no personality in it. It was literally just like reading a book.
Yeah.
But it had like some really good information, and it was like short and sweet, so you could like listen to it and not feel like you're going insane. You know?
Yeah, it's not like a big commitment or anything either.
Yeah, so like I used to like that too, but I really have not listened to anything lately.
Yeah. So, okay. So, it's Last Podcast on the Left, and then within their network, I listen to Wizard and the Bruiser and Page 7 a lot. So, Wizard and the Bruiser is just, like, the beginnings of, like, video games and, like, that kind of shit.
Okay.
And, like, movies and just, like, random topics. They just give, like, a history on them.
All right.
And then Page 7 is just talking about, like, celebrity shit. But I enjoy the hosts.
All right.
And then Tiger Belly, like I said, with Bobby Lee.
There we go. So that's 3 that you can go. 3 or 4?
Four podcasts I listen to, and then every time we post, I just listen to that just to make sure it sounds good.
Yeah, just like we're just doing quality control, quality control.
But anyway, yeah, that's the end.
Yeah, that's the Patreon.
That's
so
the
we'll
end of the episode.
In 2 weeks, like we usually are, and we will, talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, maybe these balloons will finally be on the floor by then.
They might not last super long.
If not, we'll huff it again.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, thank you guys for being patrons. We love you.
Bye.